Okay, hello and good morning everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Espresso with me, Darius and Anucauskas. Today is the 11th of April 2019, so welcome everyone. Welcome to this Thursday's morning session where we're going to have a look at the markets, a few of the charts, the usual stuff. But before we do that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, a few seconds to read the rest and we can continue. Okay, so now then, let's quickly jump into the charts. Now the first one I want to touch on actually here is the DXY. Now yesterday I was talking about this one in my tea time video, and basically what we were it was basically blasting to the upside here, where it managed to reach the 97.20 zone. Certainly at one point in time it looked that we could continue traveling higher here past the 97.20 zone, and then potentially maybe aiming for the 97.50, but you can see that everything turned around and later on that evening, and you can see that the DXY dropped back below the 97 level and is currently traveling further south. So it does have an important level to overcome, this recent low near the 96.85 level, and if we do see a drop below that, then well, the last resort for the bulls could be this upside support line, or even actually this the 200 EMA as well. So for now of course we are aiming lower. The only thing is, like I said, the downside could be limited, but if this upside support line gets broken, then certainly we could see a further slide lower. The only thing is that for us, let's say, in order to get slightly more comfortable with lower areas, we would like to see a nice good break here below the 96.70 zone, and only then we will target areas like the 96.45 or even the 96.30. But for now, stay sharp here. Certainly from the very short-term perspective, we could see this one traveling a little bit more to the downside, but again, keep your eyes on the 200 EMA here on the 4-hour chart, and this tentative upside support line taken from the low of the 31st of January, and which also could in a way hold the price from falling lower. So in terms of the upside, well, I mean, again, like I said, the scenario where we could see a potential rebound here, yes, I mean, it still exists, but for better confirmation, probably we would like to see a move back above the 97 zone, and then we will target these higher levels again. So basically, just we will try to kind of play it safe here. Certainly, from the very short-term perspective, we are looking at slightly lower areas here, up until we reach the 200 EMA or this upside support line, and then of course, like I said, we'll take it from there, see what it wants to do. If it wants to break below this upside support line, that's great for the bears. The only thing is that in order to get slightly more comfortable with the downside, we would like to see a drop below the 96.70 level and then aim for lower areas. So keep your eyes on this one, guys. Very interesting developments here at a very interesting spot right now, DXY is. So yep, let's see how this is going to play out later on. Looking at Ripple had a sell-off this morning during the Asian session, and you can see that how well it slid and managed to reach its 200 EMA here on the 4-hour chart. Now, in one of my videos where I was covering Ripple, and that was actually yesterday. Yes, that is correct. Yesterday I was talking about Ripple, and basically I was telling you guys, in terms of the downside, what we would be looking for is a drop below the 0.35 level, and you can see that how well this played out. So we had a nice drop here below this. The crypto traveled lower and actually tested one of our key support levels
levels that we were targeting here, the area around the 0.33 zone. So I mean, just there is a little bit lower here, the level around the 0.3290. If that got tested, from which the crypto kind of reversed, and it continues to push higher a little bit. But again, for now, it's a bit of a tricky one, because on one hand, certainly, yes, we could say that we could maybe see further declines here, and but the only thing is that in order to kind of consider further declines, we would like to see a drop below the 0.3290 level. This way, it would confirm a forthcoming lower low here, and we could then target the 0.3230, or even actually this zone around the 0.31 area. But for now, it is kind of retracing back up. Let's see if it actually manages to travel back above these key levels here. The first one that we're targeting is the 0.3425 zone, which is kind of bang on the 100 EMA here, shown as the green line. And if that fails to withhold, we could see maybe even a push back up here. The only thing is that where we're still going to be a little bit slightly more on the negative side is if it continues to trade below the 0.35 level. So basically, if this level here, the 0.35 level, continues to hold, we might see something like a curve here and then push back down again. Also, do not exclude the potential idea here of a range. Now let me just quickly highlight that for you guys, so you probably already can see it yourself. So do not exclude this idea, this potential scenario here, where the crypto could in a way travel back up here, even actually travel all the way back towards the 0.3750 zone again, and maybe this is going to be the point where it could reverse and push high and push lower again. So that's why, guys, for now, what's better to do here is, of course, monitor some of these key support and resistance levels. So in a way, if we see a drop below the 0.3290, that's very good for the bears. We could see this one sliding further down. But if this travels now back above the 0.3425 level, there could be some hope for the bulls, maybe for some slightly higher levels. Of course, the 0.3465 could be a nice potential obstacle here, but a better one would still be this 0.35 zone, which, let's say, if it gets broken as again back to the upside here, then yep, we will target some of these higher areas of resistance. But again, we will get to that if we see such a move. For now, the big question here is what it wants to do around these, does it want to do around the 0.3425 level on the upside here, and does it want to do with the 0.3290 level on the downside. So keep your eyes on those two, and let's see how this is going to play out. Jumping into a few pairs now, USDJPY. Now, I was talking about this one on Monday, and basically I was telling you guys that we were trading here below this key level here, the 111.50, and I was telling you guys that we could in a way see a further slide lower here towards this tentative upside support line. So we actually had a nice run to that line. We managed to test it. So let me just get rid of this arrow here. So we managed to test that line, even actually managed to kind of break it as well. So in a way, it becomes irrelevant now, so we can get rid of it. So what we're going to do here is, you can see that the pair also tested the 110.90, but actually dropped even lower. So what we're going to do here is we're going to mark this little low here around the 110.80, and that's going to be our next level to watch in order to consider lower levels. Now, that said, I mean, you can see that right now USDJPY is kind of trading not only above its pivot, but also it's back above its 200 EMA. So of course this creates this a little bit of a positive atmosphere here for USDJPY, but the only thing is that what you could do here is continue observing this level here. Now we're going to adjust some of these levels. So the 111.25 zone, now this is what we're going to be looking at here right now. A nice good push above the 111.25 could open the door back to the 111.50, and then of course we'll just take it from there, see if it wants to break it or not. But
That's in terms of the upside what we're going to be looking at. I do understand it's quite a bit of a move here, but to be honest, it's better to be safe than sorry. In terms of the downside, again, we're going to take a more cautious approach, more conservative approach, and wait until we see a drop below the 110.80, and this way this would confirm a forthcoming lower low, and we could target some of these lower areas like the 110.65 or the 110.40 zone approximately there. So this level has to be adjusted as well, guys. So let me just quickly mark this on our chart. So basically what we're going to be looking at here is something around here, something around the 110.40 or 35 zone. So keep your eyes on this little area, but again, only if we see a drop below the 110.80 zone. So keep your eyes on this, guys. Keep your eyes on some of these key levels. Let me just put the arrow here a little bit lower just for our future reference, so that we would know what to come back to when we're going to look at this pair again. GBPNZD, now a very interesting, very interesting pair. Of course, as you are aware, if you follow the Brexit news, I mean, UK is kind of given an extension of course for 6 months. I mean, there are some terms and conditions to that, but still, nevertheless, eventually the extension was given. So, but coming back to this technical picture on GBPNZD, of course, GBP in a way could maybe see this as a positive, all these developments around Brexit as a positive, and the GBP bulls could potentially push this one higher. And if we look at this, like I said, GBPNZD chart, you can see that it's a very I mean, it's a very nice long flag in a way. Now, don't get me wrong, I mean, this flag is kind of already turning more into a channel, in a downside channel. Actually, let me just quickly put this into perspective and just kind of draw an image here. So we're seeing something like this basically, but inside that channel you can see that now the pair is finding very good support here near this around this 1.9315 level, so approximately there. So it's finding good support, and it's now in a way kind of, even you could say, maybe coiling up if you of course draw a triangle here. So in a way, maybe the channel could be not the right formation here, but again, if we see a drop below the 1.9315 level, this is when of course the channel could come into play. So that's why, guys, it's a bit of a subjective thing here, so don't kind of focus on this too much. Have it on your chart, but still keep an eye on it, because like I said, on one hand you could see this as a falling channel formation, on the other hand you could see this as a descending triangle, and what I mean is, just let me quickly highlight that for our future reference. So in a way, this is what I'm talking about, and in a way, if we see a drop below this level here, below the 193.15, then yep, we could see us a further slide lower, and initially aiming for the 192.70 area approximately there, which also could coincide here with this 200 EMA on the 4-hour chart. But if that fails to withhold slightly below that, could be seen as a nice test for the lower side of this falling channel formation. And in terms of the upside, as you probably can see now, what I'm leaning to here is we need to see a nice good push above this upper side of this channel, and we could then target this quite important area of resistance around the 194.90 level, or in a way you could round it up towards the 195 zone. So basically, still this area could get tested if we see a nice good pop above this upper side of this falling channel formation. So for now, keep this idea in your head. At this point in time, we are slightly neutral on this one, and we're going to wait for that confirmation break, either through the lower side here through the 193.15 or through the upper side, which
could be maybe the level around the 194.15, so approximately there. So this way we could get this nice confirmation for further acceleration to the upside. So for now, keep your eyes on this one, and let's see how this is going to play out. Let me just put an arrow here for our future reference, and there we go. Euro dollar, very interesting developments here. Of course, yesterday after the Mario Draghi press conference, and actually during the Mario Draghi press conference, the Euro USD was sliding lower, and I was talking about this one in my traders tea time yesterday. And basically we were trading around here, and what I was saying, guys, just to keep an eye on this potential kind of this tentative upside support line. At that point in time we were trading around here, but what I was saying is that keep an eye on this upside support line. In a way, it could eventually kind of play out nicely as a good support area from which the pair could travel higher. And you can see that the bulls kind of picked up on this very quickly and pushed the rate back towards the levels where the day has started, where the yesterday's day has started, and currently the pair is stuck here excuse me, slightly below the 112.85 level, and also just below this 200 EMA. So what we're looking here for is we're looking for that break here above this 112.85, and of course above the 200 EMA. And then we could excuse me, target slightly higher areas, of course aiming for the 113 level, and then maybe a little bit higher. But again, we need to see that confirmation break here first before we can consider higher levels. Let me just actually put this highlighted area here, because this is becoming quite important. In terms of the downside, well, what's interesting here is that we're going to keep an eye now on this upside support line. So basically a drop below this could potentially lead towards the area here, towards the, of course, towards the yesterday's lows initially near the 112.28 zone, approximately there. But if that fails to withhold, the next target here could be around the 1.1205. So very good potential area of support here, but again, we will need to see that break here below this short-term in a way tentative upside support line. And the last pair I wanted to quickly touch on, and that's EURCAD, now showing good signs, but it's currently stuck here slightly below the 200 EMA. Certainly looking at this picture here, it's trading now above the 150.40. I was talking about this one in one of my videos as well, and basically I was telling you guys to watch out for this 150.40, but now it's kind of becoming interesting to see what will it do with this 200 EMA. If it continues to push higher, that's wonderful. We could see further acceleration to the upside, especially if this level here gets broken, the 1.5060 mark near the highs of the 5th of April and near the lows of the 27th of March. This level right here, the 15060, is going to become this important one to watch as well, in addition to the 150.40, because like I said, it is currently trading above this. That's good news for EURCAD bulls, but again, somehow they're still struggling to overcome this 200 EMA. So in a way, we need to see that nice, good, strong push higher. So, and that's why the 150.60 could be that nice gateway towards higher levels. This would confirm a forthcoming higher high, and then we could target the area around the 150-110 zone. So in terms of the downside, if this travels back down and let's say falls below today's pivot, which is around the 1.5020 zone, something like that, maybe just slightly below that, then yep, we could eventually target the 149.68 zone again, which was marked here by the lows of the 9th of April and the lows on the low of the 4th of April. So but then again, we need to see that drop below today's pivot. So but that's the game plan for today mainly. So we'll see how this is going to perform throughout the day, and we might look at this one later on in our traders tea time just to see where actually this is going to end up. So for now, this is, like I said, this is the short-term, very short-term game plan, and let's see how this is going to play out. Okay, guys. I hope you found it useful. Sorry for the losing my voice a little bit here, but thank you very much for sticking around. And if you want to join me later on in my traders tea time, that's 13:15 GMT time. But for now, I hope you have a wonderful trading day, and I'll see you later. Bye bye.